I would say, I mean, AI is changing everything. I mean, that's what we hear about every day. So, from a recruiting standpoint, I mean, you see it every day when you log into post ads, everything is AI generated. Um, you know, when you're sourcing people, a lot of it is AI generated from the different platforms. So we're starting to see it every day. I think a lot of times we're using AI and don't even know that it's happening. And at the same time, there's a lot that we do need to incorporate to make our companies more efficient. If I go to AI and say, create my resume based on a few different details, it's going to look like AI. But if you take your current resume, copy and paste it into an AI program, it will take what you have and just make it so AI could pull it when people are sourcing for keywords of jobs that you might be looking for. So big difference there. And with that, you really don't notice a difference. Like you don't look at the resume and say, oh, AI generated this. Usually it helps with the verbiage. It makes you look better, makes sure the spelling and punctuation is correct. But again, it adds keywords that will help you land your job. So I think you're right too, though. Clients are right. I mean, a lot of people are applying. It's making recruiters' jobs a lot harder because people are applying and they look fantastic on paper and you start to talk to them and nothing on the resume represents them. Here's the great thing about AI. And I know you and I have talked a lot about this, but I mean, AI has been around. We've been using it. We talk to Siri. Right. I mean, every day. And I always say Siri is my everything because, I can book events on my calendar. I can set alarms. I can, there's so much that can be done. And we didn't even realize it was AI to begin with. And now we're seeing, so much is coming into our space and multifamily, and a lot of people are just not aware. So the one thing I've been saying recently is a lot of people who are maybe not the younger generation have a lot of questions. They're kind of panicking. They're like, oh my gosh, it's so much. How am I going to keep up? But our industry is really fascinating. I mean, when you talk about 99, 2000, the years of ledgers still existed, rent roll was a thing. We've evolved a lot. And technology, I mean, we've all used at 1.8 different platforms to get our jobs done. And it was like, oh my gosh, our job has become harder. We're just trying to keep up with all the things we need to do every day versus taking care of the residents ultimately and our employees. Asking people, how do you feel about AI? And if people are excited about it, that's your people. Because everything I've seen so far is making people's jobs easier. So I think we should be really excited about it. And it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's new for everybody. So it doesn't matter if you're 18 looking for a job or 65 looking for a job. As long as you're open to it and you're excited about it and you're ready to engage, I think it's a really exciting time. I do think more companies are aware. I think the pushback that they're getting from people who have been in the industry for a long period of time makes them question if they need younger people on their team. I posted recently about age discrimination, and that's a lot of it. But, my take is simply AI is something that's new for all of us. And if you're just open to learning and seeing how it can make your life easier, anybody can do it. And it's really just about a positive attitude and somebody who's like, I don't know anything about this, but I'm ready and willing to learn and engage, to make my job easier. I mean, just to back it up a little bit, one of the things I'm seeing more than ever, and especially when it comes to hiring, is people are looking for your website. And now residents and candidates or prospects are looking for your website. I know in working with a lot of smaller companies or mom and pop companies across the country, the larger companies have the websites and they have all this AI and chat already. But there are definitely solutions for everybody. Getting a website and making it functional doesn't have to be super expensive. You can find expensive options, but there's middle of the road options. There's a lot of experts like yourself that can really help companies see the effectiveness of having a good website and having some chat interaction, having the reviews, the automated, reviews with, the reviews being answered, I should say, in a timely manner. A lot of our smaller companies, again, that we work with, are trying to find ways to be more effective. One of my recommendations, because it can be overwhelming. I mean, a lot of us are wearing a lot of hats. A lot of us work long hour days. We're like, how am I going to incorporate all of this? Engage with your team. I mean, recruiting is life changing already. I would say probably the team could do double the amount of work that they were doing 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
Because after every call, you're doing notes. So 30 minutes worth of notes you're not going to be typing while you're on the phone with a candidate. So ultimately, we're writing them out, then we're typing them up, we're putting them in the system. Then we need to email a client if we feel like this would be a good fit. Now we have the notes in our system. We can upload them, shoot them over to a client. I mean, in minutes, 5 minutes. So I would say every day they're probably saving 4 or 5 hours just in note taking based on AI alone. Ultimately, I could be recreated, and with my face and my voice, I could type out welcome to CTH Recruiting. We're so happy, that you used our services or whatever it might be. My team could actually just type up what I need to say, put it in the system, and I could say it and they could email it to a team. So have I done that yet? Not quite yet. It makes me a little bit nervous. That part, just having my face and my voice and everything. And ultimately your team could type whatever they want and send it out. My team's fantastic, or I could do it. I mean, there's so much that we can do with AI. I think the biggest thing right now, though, is being efficient with the candidate's time. So we have found ways with our recordings that we can have one interview and be done, where sometimes we used to have 2 or 3, depending on the level of candidate, because we want to cross the T dot the I. But now when we're getting to clients, we're still seeing a lot of virtual calls, which is great. I always say keep them short. 15 minutes is usually good virtually if you're going to meet them in person later. 30 to 45 minutes, depending on the position, should be enough. But there's so many ways that we can engage with them quickly. And then when you make an offer, share with them how excited you are. AI actually does, I think, a better job of presenting really beautiful offers that just explain to them and share with them how excited we are. Make that happen quickly. And then whatever the background checks, drug testing, whatever your company does, I mean, make sure it moves along in a pretty swift way. I mean, that's a big turnoff for people. If it takes them a week to get a job offer, it takes another week or 10 days to get through the background check, then you need to give notice. I mean, by that time, if they're a great candidate, they probably have multiple offers, and you just lost a good employee just based on time alone. So, when it comes to the multifamily space, 2019, everybody was drug testing. I would say today, most are not. It's very rare. I mean, I would say 90% of our clients don't drug test at all. That's a big change. 2019, 90% of our clients did. Marijuana has really been, nobody really looks at it. I mean, it's rare. I would say 2% of our clients do. So, our industry is changing and evolving. But with the drug testing, I mean, it's making the hiring process quicker. Now, backgrounds, depending where you are, I mean, I always recommend doing a deep background check to make sure that you have the right person on your team, because they are going into people's homes and they do have access sometimes to funds. So I do think that part is important. Some states it moves very quickly. Some states it could take a week. But again, just be upfront with the candidate about that. And it's same with the day one when it comes to their onboarding. They should be able to do that via phone even before they ever start. So when they get to the office day one, it's really a big welcome. It's like, welcome to the team. We're so glad you're here, and get feedback. Send them feedback that says, hey, what did you think of our onboarding process? Were there any glitches? That's a big one. When somebody starts on site, for sure, have 3 points of contact for them day one. That should be the first thing. Not only are you welcoming them, maybe you find out, the first day lunch or what they like to drink or what they like to snack on. You have that there already, but connect them with people that have the same job they have, at least 3 of them, Because immediately, if you may not have the best training in place, maybe you do, you may just have, it's nice that they have points of contact that they can call, they can email, and connect with to basically not feel like they're on an island by themselves. I mean, when companies are short-staffed, we see it all the time. Employees
Yeah.
call us and they're like, I got here, the maintenance let me into the office, and I haven't seen or heard from anybody all day. CTH Recruiting services all 50 states, and we service every part of every state. So there's many ways that I go about that. I can tell you the national kind of average, what we're seeing for leasing is anywhere from $20 to $30 an hour. Oftentimes their commission is 10% of the rent. That would be a very common one. But we see everything. We see less, we see more. I always say, we're competing nowadays with Amazon and fast food and everything else. And anything under 20, people will leave. People will leave for 50 cents if it's under 20. That's what I always say. If it's over 20, they'll leave for $1. Once you get over 30, they might leave for $3, $4, $5. So, it can help with retention based on pay alone. I get a lot of people that tell me that, the leasing compensation, they should be driven to get commission. And what I hear from the candidates are, but we still need to be able to pay our rent. We need to be able to pay our bills because leasing can be seasonal, depending where it is. So again, pay is regional specific for sure. When it comes to maintenance, that's also a loaded question. I mean, I think somebody right out of maybe a tech school would probably be around the $20 an hour range. Somebody more experienced today, 24, 26. Maintenance supervisors, 28, 30, depending if they need to have their HVAC or other certifications. And I've seen huge maintenance packages today. I mean, we're in a desperate need for maintenance. We have been for years. And we need people that know what they're doing. I mean, I think every company needs that. And I think the big change with maintenance and housekeeping and all these other positions is with technology, they need to be able to work from their phone to complete work orders and, be open to technology again. So same with assistants. I mean, it's the same thing for them. I mean, technology is changing. I would say most assistants make less than leasing now. But for a lot of people, it's the next step. And depending on the company, how renewals are priced or, commissions are set. I mean, you can still make some good money there too. So, because there are some companies that have a really great culture. And so they're able to pay a little bit less and retain people. But where I see those companies struggle is when they get vacancies for a long period of time, people that were content with the culture become discontent. And so they start to look, and then it's like the mass exodus because they're making $18 an hour and they can go down the road and do maintenance for 24. So, that's usually the call I get or companies. Some have one or two open positions, but many have 5, 10, 20. I have one right now with 40. And we know as an industry, we already operate on a skeleton crew. So every time you take away, let's say one maintenance person from every property, potentially we have manager positions vacant. Then we start to burn out our upper management because regionals are having to sit in for managers. I mean, it's like this cycle that feels like it's not going to end. So, there are different ways that, companies are getting people to stick. I say that being fully staffed is the best thing you can do because even fully staffed, we're understaffed. Basic packages right now, just across the board, are at least 2 weeks vacation, 1 week sick, or 3 weeks PTO as a whole, depending on the state that you're in. So I think that's an important thing too. I know there's a lot of people that I've spoken to, they've been with companies 20, 25 years, and they're like, I didn't get that for 10 years, so I'm not going to change that for our people coming on board now. And I'm like, but you're not going to get the people that you want today, and they're probably not going to stay. So it is important, the base, and that's basic. I have some companies that do quite a bit more, including a lot more holidays off. We're seeing a lot more holidays, birthdays off, things like that too. So there are easy ways to make your company stand out. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be over the top. And of course, I'm always happy to speak to anybody about, their company and what their position is, depending on where they're located. I think number one right now is engage with the people you have. Figure out, a lot of companies don't have room for growth, but figure out who you have and what they like. If you have somebody in your company that loves AI, let them do the research for you. If you love somebody who loves to train, let them become the trainer. There could be a small compensation bump attached to that.
Yeah.
There may not, depending on your company's situation, but engaging your people will keep them. It makes them happy. Training for the next position. Maybe you have, an assistant that could train leasing people because they were the best leaser in their time. You have the manager that can train the assistant, things like that. Maintenance right now. My goodness, if you can find a young, positive, ready to work human, make it happen. I think one of the biggest things that we're seeing today is, which is interesting, is like nobody wants to work the weekends when it comes to leasing. I get that comment all the time. But the companies that are making it are adjusting get this. I mean, this would have never happened even 10 years ago. Adjusting their office hours based on people's schedules. If your leaser wants to come in at noon and leave at 8 or 9 p.m., it's actually a great experience for the person looking for an apartment that's trying to chat at 7 or 8 o'clock at night when they get home and they've had dinner. Work, maybe they're at home all day. That's another we could go on about that too.
Yes,
but people come home from work and then no maintenance is there. And then they have to wait till the next day for things to get fixed. So having that flexible schedule, we're seeing that a lot. I mean, as daycare prices have gone up, we have a lot of people that both humans need to work. And one works days, one works nights, need to take care of the kids. That's becoming very common. And why couldn't maintenance work at night? So, I know the companies that have rolled that out have taken maintenance that have worked for them, that they know and trust. They manage them by leaving them a list of things that have to be done. And every day they get to see, because a lot of people are like, well, how do you know they're working or not? Well, they can pay vacant apartments at night, potentially, depending how the noise is between the apartments, of course, but they could clean the pool. Like, what about the summertime? Everybody swims in the evening and there's nobody there to clean it up. So, it's like what my tagline today, and I think it should be everybody's tagline, has been, striving to be the #1 recruiting in multifamily industry. And why can't we all just strive every single day to be the best in our area? That's all we can do because everything is evolving. You just keep moving forward. You keep at least trying with an open mind, and be open to change. And I'm excited about everything that's happening. So we could talk so much more. I could share so many ideas if you need ideas to make your team happy, make the people that you're hiring stick. I mean, we're growing together.
Yes, we are.
It's an exciting time, and we're some of the people that are open to change, and that's why we open our businesses and offer services to our clients, because we're passionate about what we do and we want to see people succeed.